With the novel coronavirus cases registering an alarming increase in recent days, all the talks have been about the government's lack of initiative in increasing contact tracing. With record COVID-19 cases and equally alarming number of deaths yesterday, the government's incapability to deal with the crisis can be gauged by the fact that it has even failed to carry the test of the family members of the infected. Good morning, I'm Amar Singh Pradhan and these are the headlines of the hour. A record high single-day spike of 1,221 new COVID-19 cases reported along with 15 more deaths. Kathmandu Valley also reports highest 429 cases. Government fails to conduct swab tests of family members of infected individuals even as COVID-19 cases are surging in the community level. US President Donald Trump and his Democratic rival Joe Biden clash over the violence that has erupted at protests in Portland, Oregon. And England take a 1-0 lead over Pakistan in the ongoing 3-match T20 series with a comfortable 5-wicket victory. A record-high single-day spike of 1,221 new COVID-19 cases were confirmed in the country yesterday. With the addition of the new cases, the infection tally in the country has climbed to 38,561. Speaking at the daily press briefing yesterday, spokesperson for the Health Ministry, Dr. Jageshwar Gautam, informed that a total of 12,717 swab samples were tested in the past yesterday through the PCR method, taking the test tally to over 682,000. The Kathmandu Valley once again reported a record high 421 new cases yesterday. The highest 372 cases were reported in Kathmandu district alone and 12 in Lalitpur and 45 in Kantipur. Likewise, 90 cases were confirmed in Chitwan, 82 in Bara, 75 in Dhanusa, 61 in Rupandi and 49 in Morung districts. Meanwhile, 20,822 people have been discharged as of the latest updates, with 267 individuals being discharged yesterday, taking the recovery rate to 54%. According to the Health Ministry, there are 17,518 active cases in the country. 10,612 are in different isolation centers, while 6,906 individuals are in home isolation. Likewise, 17 patients are being treated in ventilators and 444 in intensive cares, while 7,797 individuals are in various quarantine centers across the country. Meanwhile, 15 deaths were confirmed in the country yesterday, taking the COVID-19 death tally to 222. The number of coronavirus cases in the country has been spiking on a daily basis in recent days, setting new records. Cases are being detected in the community level as the government has failed in intensifying contact tracing and expediting testing parameters. The country has recorded over 38,000 COVID-19 cases as of the latest updates. However, the control of the virus has become more challenging due to the government's lackluster approach in contact tracing. We have more in this report.
Until Sunday, the number of coronavirus cases in the country reached 17,518, while the number of individuals in home isolation crossed over 9,600 due to the lack of adequate number of isolation centers. Symptomatic patients have also been compelled to confine themselves in their respective homes. COVID-19 cases have been vigorously increasing in the community level in the densely populated Kathmandu Valley, as the federal capital alone recorded 5,428 cases with the inclusion of 429 new cases on Sunday. The Health Ministry, meanwhile, has failed in conducting contact tracing and testing. The ministry, despite claiming of mobilizing teams at the local level for contact tracing, has even failed to conduct swab tests of family members of the infected individuals. This lethargic action of the government has attributed in the spike of COVID-19 cases in the community level. Local authorities in 40 districts, including from the Kathmandu Valley, have issued prohibitory orders in a bid to contain the spread of the virus, causing minimal public movement in the community. The government should make good use of this period of prohibitory order to control the spread of COVID-19. However, the result is very depressing as the Health Ministry has limited the daily testing number to around 13,500 despite claiming of having a capacity of conducting 22,000 tests, as it could not mobilize enough workforce to collect swab samples in the community level. This has increased the risk of further spread of COVID-19 in the country instead of controlling the pandemic. The alarming increase in the number of cases in several districts including Chitwan, Rupandehi, Bara, Parsa, Thanusha and Morang along with the Kathmandu Valley shows that contact tracing in the country is very lethargic. Controlling the pandemic will remain a far cry if the government gives continuation to the prohibitory orders instead of intensifying contact tracing and treatment.
The government has decided to extend the suspension of all long route vehicles and air services from operating until 16th of September. The cabinet meeting held yesterday at the Prime Minister's official residence in Balwatwar decided to implement the decision. Earlier, the government had decided to resume long-distance vehicles and flight services from 1st of September. With a significant spike in number of coronavirus cases in the country in recent days, the government decided to extend the suspension of long route vehicles and flight services until 16th of September. At a time when the country's economy is reeling due to COVID-19 pandemic, foreign investment in the country has increased by 49% as over 19 billion rupees was invested in the last fiscal year. The government has been claiming that the introduction of one-stop service center along with improved policies have attributed to the increase in foreign investment. We have more in this report.
All businesses except for emergency services have been suspended due to the ongoing prohibitory orders and lockdowns. The lockdown, which was imposed throughout the country since 24th of March, was continued until the end of the fiscal year, dropping down the possibility of investment, causing liquidity in banks. Despite a lockdown of almost 4 months, the country witnessed 49% increase in foreign investment. In the fiscal year 2018-19, the country received a total of 13.06 billion rupees in foreign investment, which climbed to 19.48 billion rupees in the last fiscal year. Some 4 billion rupees was received during the lockdown period alone. The hydropower sector alone received the highest 16 billion rupees of foreign investment in the last fiscal year, which includes 2 billion rupees for Arun 3rd hydropower and 900 million rupees for Solu hydropower projects. Likewise, the commitment of foreign investment in the country has also increased. According to the Industry Department, foreign investment commitment has also increased by 52%, worth 38.87 billion rupees. Country-wise, China has committed for the highest foreign investment of 25.79 billion rupees for 177 projects. Approval from the department is mandatory for projects worth up to 6 billion rupees. However, investment commitment from India has significantly dropped in the last fiscal year as Indian companies obtained approval for only 3.24 billion rupees in investment for 16 projects. The government, meanwhile, has claimed that the introduction of one-stop service center along with improved policies have attributed an increase in foreign investment. The Investment Board has rights to approve projects worth over 6 billion rupees and hydropower projects with more than 200 megawatt capacity and had approved 8 projects including 2 cement industries worth 300 billion rupees in the last fiscal year.
And in our Public Voice segment, we had asked the locals in Pasthar district regarding their views on the overnight decision made by the provincial government to shift the Ayurvedic hospital to the district headquarters from the rural area. Let's take a look at what they have to say.
Public Voice.
यतिखेर चाहिँ हस्पिटल सार्दै हैन अझै यहाँनेरि चाहिँ अझै सेवा सुविधा थप गरेर चाहिँ बढाएको भए चाहिँ राम्रो हुन्थ्यो।
यहाँ के छ यस्तो औषधिहरू गर्ने सङ्घ संस्था भन्नुस् तपाईहरु पनि सोच्नुस् सर हामीले जानेको चाहिँ त्यो जानु हुँदैन लानु हुँदैन।
यहाँको चाहिँ त्यो मान्छे नै हैन जिल्लामा बस्ने मात्रै तपाईको मानवमा गन्ती हुने यहाँको मान्छे चाहिँ मान्छे हैन।
यहाँका जनतालाई राहत पुगिरहेको थियो सेवा पुगिरहेको थियो यो जिल्ला नै लानुपर्ने कारण चाहिँ किन हो यी कारण खोल्नुपर्छ।
And now time for our segment Public Pulse, where it texts us with their opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, why have leaderships of political parties failed to be inclusive? Your options are option A, apathy in practice, option B, lack of capable candidates, and option C, faulty law. The voting is on. Type in AWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share opinion with us. And it's now time for our special segment of The Beat.
It's a three-match series. First one was washed up.
The central bank has introduced new banknotes of 1,000 rupee denomination that includes the image of a twin elephant born in Chitwan's Sauraha. Twin elephants are considered rare, while the twin elephants born 12 years ago have replaced the elephant that had been in use for over 50 years in the country's 1,000 rupee note. Devkali had given birth to the twin elephants Ram and Lakshman in 2008 in Chitwan National Park and Elephant Breeding Center. The previous 1,000 rupee banknote with the image of an elephant was in use since 1970. With the release of the new banknotes last month, Ram and Lakshman, previously living an obscure life, have shot into the limelight. This is Ram, the elder of the two brothers, Ram is at the eastern office of National Park as his day begins with the collection of grass early in the morning. Mahout, or the elephant caretaker, Binod Chaudhary, has been looking after Ram for the past 6 years. Chaudhary is simply elated after the elephant, under his watchful eyes, has made it to the 1,000 rupee banknote, the highest denomination in the country. Ram's twin, Lakshman, is at the other side of the national park. Although they are not together, they have matching behaviors. Lakshman, like Ram, is very well disciplined as he proceeds about his rigorous daily chores to every command of his Mahout. Both Ram and Lakshman are also mobilized for security purposes as they have played instrumental roles in controlling timber smuggling in the region. The country was under 4-month-long rigorous lockdown beginning from the 3rd week of March, compelling people to remain indoors. The prohibitory orders imposed in several places of the country since mid-August has especially made the plight of daily wage workers all the more challenging. There are many daily wage workers like Kumar Nepali who manage to dodge the eyes of patrolling security personnel and venture out in the hope of finding some works. However, with no job at hand, he makes his way back to his rented room, depressed and worried to make the two ends meet for his family. Kumar Nepali is just a representative case among hundreds of daily wage workers who depend on daily wages to manage the daily needs of their family members. This second spell of lockdown has also come down heavily upon Kamala Basnet, who hails from Okaldunga and currently working in the capital. It is an understatement to say that the entire country is now reeling under the corona crisis, while the daily workers in the country are the ones who are especially hit by the pandemic. It is estimated that the number of such daily wage workers across the country is 1.6 million or more.
And before we wrap up this morning news bulletin, here's a look at the top stories one more time. A record high single-day spike of 1,221 new COVID-19 cases reported, along with 15 more deaths. Kathmandu Valley also reports highest 429 cases. Government fails to conduct swab tests of family members of infected individuals even as COVID-19 cases are surging in the community level. US President Donald Trump and his Democratic rival Joe Biden clash over the violence that has erupted at protests in Portland, Oregon. And England take a 1-0 lead over Pakistan in the ongoing 3-match T20 series with a comfortable 5-wicket victory. And those were our latest headlines. Stay with us for more news and entertainment on KTVSD. Stay safe and good day.